and welcome back to my channel Inspiring Life Design. My name is Karina and it's wonderful to have you here. It's a brand new year, 2020, in fact a brand new decade, and I'm so excited for what's ahead. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that button so that you can get notified. In fact, if you hit the bell, that's when you'll get notified whenever I put a new post out. I've got a lot of content planned for this year in terms of personal development videos, some interviews with some really fascinating people, and some reviews of things like Tony Robbins events. So yeah, stick around, it's going to be a lot of fun. Right, let's get on with today's video. Today I'm going to have a look back at 2019 and do a review of how I got on. Now, first of all, I have a bit of a confession slash apology to make, because back in January 2019 I did my January goals video, and my intention was to do a fresh goal update video every month, and I didn't. So I'm very sorry. I've just watched that video back actually, and it's such a shame because I think it would have been quite nice to have tracked throughout the year how I got on. But never mind, it's a new year, fresh start, so wipe the slate clean. But I'm just going to have a look back at the goals that I did talk about in January, because I thought it'd be interesting to reflect on whether I managed to achieve them or not. And in doing that kind of exercise, it can help you look ahead as you're setting goals for the new year. I had 8 goals that I set last year. The first one was to achieve my ideal weight. My benchmark for that was to be able to fit into size 12 clothes. I'm afraid to say I did not achieve that goal. In fact, I think sometimes your goals change, especially when you've set goals at the start of a year. The year doesn't always pan out the way that you want it to, and it is okay to kind of review and change your goals and your intentions as the year goes. And in the case of this one, I think I was getting a bit stressed out and overthinking it, trying to find a diet or something that would work for me. And in the end, I decided that instead of being stressed out over it, the best thing that I could do was to look after myself and just follow a healthy eating regime, which is what I did. So I was already eating mostly organic food. I continued with that and continuing that into this year. And I added to my daily checklist a little checkpoint to let me think, have I eaten 5 fruit and vegetables today? And I sort of did a review of what, it sounds silly, but what classes as fruit and vegetables. For example, I didn't know that beans like baked beans or beans that you have in a chili or something like that count towards one of your 5 a day. Things like a can of appetizer does, a tin of tomato soup does. So it's not always just the fresh fruit and vegetables that count towards it. I have done various different forms of exercises throughout the year. More recently, I got into doing midweek morning walks. I haven't been doing that in the new year yet, but I would like to get back into doing some more of those. Also, earlier last year, I did some free weights at home, just using weights that I had and the exercises that came with the weights. I went through a phase of going and playing badminton with my boyfriend, and also following exercise videos on YouTube. So there was various things that I did throughout the year to work on my health and my diet. But in terms of actually achieving that goal, that I didn't do that, so it was not achieved. My second goal was a really big stretch goal for me that I knew would be a push, and it was to make £7,000 a month by the end of the year. The idea being that instead of setting a goal of an overall amount of money that I wanted to make in the year, I wanted to focus on creating a continuous income. Now, I haven't managed to achieve this goal in terms of I don't feel I've got a steady income coming in yet. It's actually quite difficult transitioning from your previous job, whatever that may be. In my case, it was contracting as a project manager or working in IT as a project manager. and transitioning into a different business, whatever that may be, whatever niche you've picked or thing that you're transitioning into. And for me, I found that transition quite hard, and it's still a work in progress. But what I would say is, although I'm not making a consistent income that is enough for me to cover all of my expenses and the things that I would like every month, I did have some unexpected surprises last year. My best month in terms of income, when I say income, it was actually profit, was in June, where I made a profit of just over £7,000 that month. So if I think back to this goal, be making £7,000 a month by the year end, I've now proved to myself that I can earn £7,000 in a month through my new business ventures. The challenge for me is to work out how I can now do that consistently, because the reason I made that amount in June was because I worked on a product launch. So unless I find a product launch, a new fresh product launch to work on every month, then I need some other income streams to kind of level it out. So I didn't achieve that goal in every sense, but I am pleased that I proved to myself that it is possible to get that level of income. So the third goal was to grow my Inspiring Life Design brand so that it becomes a viable income stream. If you watch my video back where I talked about my goals, I said that although I had that goal set, it was probably not going to be as strong a focus for me as what I was doing at the start of the year, which was focusing on earning money from book publishing. But around I think it was about May time, I did a bit of a U-turn and decided that actually what I really wanted to do, because it's what my heart spoke to me and said that I would enjoy a lot more, is I did really want to focus more on my website, on my YouTube channel, and on my brand as a whole, and growing that. So I kind of switched, and that became more of a focus in the second half of 2019. And within that, I sort of band in the affiliate marketing, or kind of like product promotions of things that I've used and that I feel are fabulous products and that I would go out and buy myself. It's only those kind of things that I'm prepared to become an affiliate for and to help other people discover them. Because if I think they're amazing and they're helping me achieve what I want to do with my goals, then I know for sure that there's other people out there who could benefit from the same things as me. So I'm giving this one a big tick. I feel that I did achieve growing my brand last year. And in terms of just some quick stats that prove that, there's such a thing called domain authority, which is how websites are graded, so to speak. And it ranges from a scale of 0 through to 100, 100 being practically impossible to get. I think I've only ever seen 100 on Google. I started the year with a domain authority of 18, which I've worked really hard to get the website to up until that point. And at the end of the year, I finished on 25. So I went up 7. And it's actually quite hard to go from one level, or I found it quite hard to go from one level to the next. It takes quite a lot of effort, and you have to really think about who's linking to your website and SEO and lots of different things. So I'm really, really pleased with that result. And then also my YouTube channel was absolutely in its infancy at the start of the year. I had 17 followers, and that has now gone up to 351. So I'm making great progress with YouTube. I'm really excited to continue that into this year. Instagram went up by 570. So that was from about 1.7k to about 2.3. And my email list, again, it's really in its infancy, and I'm learning all the time how to encourage people to join my website's email list, but also how I can really add value to people with the newsletters that I send out. So I started the year with 15 subscribers and I finished with 47. And I would really, really like to grow that as much as I can this year. If you haven't already joined my email list, then you can join that by just going to my blog, inspiringlifedesign.com. And at the moment, I'm offering a free course when you sign up to my email list, and you'll get access to that automatically. Goal number 4 was to take some holidays with my boyfriend. In 2018, we only did about, I think it was like a 5-night holiday to Disneyland Paris, and we did a short camping trip. So I really wanted to get some more holidays in last year. And I'm pleased to say that I made a great effort with this goal, and I did achieve it. We went to Center Parcs in May, along with my parents. We went camping again in July for a couple of nights with the group of friends that we go camping with. We also bought a fabulous new tent, which is wonderful. So I'm going to enjoy staying in that. We glamp, not camp really, but I love it. And then, so another trip that I did, it wasn't with my boyfriend, it was actually on my own. And really it was more of a business trip, but I had to mention it here because it was such a big thing for me. I went to Las Vegas in August, and it was as a result of being a partner with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi for the KBB, or Knowledge Broker Blueprint course. And because I did very well in making sales of their course as it launched, I got invited to an appreciation party, which was absolutely fabulous. In October, we had a couple more trips because it was a special birthday for my boyfriend. And so I surprised him, and we went to Paris for 2 nights on the Eurostar. And then after that, about a week later, we went to Cornwall for a week with family. It was in half term, so that had all been prearranged. We stayed in a gorgeous house with sea views and just had a wonderful week there. So I think that's a very big tick for holidays last year. Goal number 5 was to learn something new in 2019. And I feel like I did really well with this, and I would like to continue this progress that I made last year with putting a lot of focus on getting as much new information in as I can. I've always been interested in learning, especially personal development, but when I went as a participant to Tony Robbins a couple of years ago, he really stressed the importance of learning, and if you're not learning, you're not growing. You're basically dying, is the kind of the way he puts it. You have to keep learning to grow and understand and discover new things and to make life exciting. So for me, I booked some sessions at the Apple Store in Birmingham, which is wonderful. They offer these mini sort of like 1 to 2 hour sessions where you can go and learn things for free. You don't have to pay a penny, you can book onto them for free. And so I planned a day and I looked to see all of the different sessions they had that day and spaced them out, and had a wonderful day there at the Apple Store. So that's a great thing to do if you're looking for a way to learn and a nice day out. I highly recommend it. I also learnt a lot about affiliate marketing this year. It's something that I'd never done before. I was a complete newbie last year, and I jumped in head first and just soaked up as much information as I could from the people around me who were more experienced. And yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot, still got a long way to go, but it was exciting for me to start to see into that world a little bit. A massive learning for me last year, which was very exciting and wholly unexpected, was that I got to go to Tony Robbins' Business Mastery. Like I say, at the start of the year, that wasn't even on my radar. I hadn't planned to go to any Tony events last year because I knew that I wasn't planning on contracting at all, so I didn't have money coming in, so I didn't really feel I could commit financially. But the reason that I went to Business Mastery is because when I went to Las Vegas for the appreciation party, I looked in the Tony Robbins calendar because I thought, oh, if Tony's going to be there for that, is there a reason? Is he doing an event near there? And literally 2 days after that party, Tony was doing Business Mastery. And one thing that I was trying to do a lot last year was to listen to my instinct, to my intuition. And so I did, and I went with it, even though it was scary for me to spend that amount of money. But I just thought it's a sign, and I feel like it's right for me at this time to go to Business Mastery. I'm spending the money anyway to get to Las Vegas and be in a hotel. I'll add a few extra nights on, and wow, what an amazing experience that was. I will have to do a separate video on Business Mastery and the kind of things that it covers, because there's at least one video in there, probably many. Other things that I learnt, I did the entire Knowledge Broker Blueprint course. which is absolutely fantastic. If you want to know anything about it at all, do let me know, because it's not just about learning how to be a knowledge broker, and essentially the core teaching is so that you can go and take something that you know, whatever one of your skills or hobbies is, and teach it to other people and be able to make money from that. But you don't just learn the practicalities of how to do that. There's so much content in the course about discovering yourself. And that's really why last year I had a bit of an awakening, I suppose, and realised that what was important to me was to follow what I'm passionate about and what really resonates with me, because that's the only way I'm going to be happy doing what I'm doing. So yeah, highly recommend that course. And finally, I also worked through Tony Robbins' Time of Your Life audio program. I set up a daily intention call every weekday morning with other people who've attended Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within events. And we decided to work through Time of Your Life together and just kind of touch base and share notes on how we found it. So, and I've really got so much value out of Time of Your Life. I'm still using the planning system from it. I've adapted it so that I can use the weekly planning and goal setting in my bullet journal. So no doubt there'll be videos on that to come as well. So overall, learn something new this year is a massive tick for me. Right, moving on to goal number 6. That was to invest £30,000 into ISAs this year. Now, if you're not familiar with what ISAs are, in the UK it is a savings tool that you can use. Think of it kind of like a savings account, but it's a very particular type of savings account. And you get an amount of money that you are permitted to put into that account each tax year. And you can either put it in as cash, or you can put it into an ISA that gets invested in stocks and shares. So, and the beauty of these ISAs is that once you've put the money in the account, whenever you want to withdraw money out in the future, it's completely tax-free. You don't get taxed on it. Now, I think this is fantastic. I would rather pay tax on my income now and then know that any money that I've put away and take in future years when I may not be earning as much, I'm not going to have to pay tax on. So I try to max out my ISA allowance every year if I can. It's quite hard to do because £20,000, it's quite a lot of money to put aside, but I do try my absolute hardest, because one of my life goals is to become financially independent. And the way I see to do that is to invest a lot of money year on year into the stock market. And ultimately, as I grow a bigger and bigger pot in the stock market, I anticipate being able to withdraw about 3 to 4% of my earnings on those investments per year to keep for me, which I should be able to do, all going well, without reducing the underlying investments too much. I have done other YouTube videos on this already that go into that in a little bit more detail, so look out for those. So that's kind of some reasoning behind why I have this goal. Now, I put £20,000 into my ISA in March last year, which meant that I filled up that ISA. So the tax year cut-off is 5th of April. So I managed to fill the last year's ISA. But the 2019 to 2020 ISA, where the window will close on 5th of April 2020, I haven't yet invested that extra 10,000 that was part of this goal. And the reason for that is not that I don't have the money. I've got the money set aside ready to invest. It's because I want to open a separate ISA, a new ISA, to store the money in, because very long-winded way of describing this, but the money that I already have invested in that ISA, I don't want it to go over the £85,000 threshold, which is the safety limit for if a bank or institution goes bust. So I've decided that from now on, my future investments for the next few years will go into a new ISA. And what I haven't done is investigated which bank I'm going to put that with. So I've got some work to do this year to get that resolved. Moving on to goal number 7, and that was to donate £600 to charities in 2019. I updated my spreadsheet where I track all of my charitable donations just before filming this, and I didn't manage to hit that 600. In fact, I'm down on previous year's giving. I donated just under, literally a couple of pounds under £300 last year across a range of charities and sponsoring people. And now the reason for that is because, as I've alluded to earlier, I'm not actually working on a contract at the moment. I'm trying to build up my own online business, and as a result of that, I don't have a steady income. And while I don't have a steady income, realistically, I can't commit to giving as much to charity. I need to focus on getting the income coming in first, and then I can give more. That's not to say I have stopped giving altogether. I still have a couple of direct debits set up that are still going out, but I did have to close off quite a few of the ones that I used to donate to in this interim transition period. And finally, you'll be pleased to know I'm on to the last goal that I set last year, which was to make a plan to attend Tony Robbins' Mastery University. Mastery University is a bundle of Tony's programs that you can buy as a package so that it's cheaper to do them all across a 2-year period instead of paying to go to them individually. And it covers his Date with Destiny course, Life Mastery and Wealth Mastery. So it's 3 events, although Life and Wealth Mastery always run side by side, so most people do them back to back. So kind of like 2 courses. And I think when you buy Mastery University, you get some coaching thrown in. There might be something else as well, I forget. I wasn't planning to go to it last year. I wanted to make a plan to see, okay, how can I save up and what year do I feel that I can commit to going to it in? Of course, plans changed halfway through the year, and I ended up pushing myself financially and going to Business Mastery, which was a lot of money to go to. So I kind of feel like, although I didn't create a plan to attend Mastery University, but I feel like I did something else on the flip side to that. And I think the reason why I didn't actually make a plan to follow through on the Mastery University courses is that it's the same thing as I said about charity. Until I have a consistent income, it's pretty much impossible for me to save and know how much I can save, because not just mine, but anybody's, priority would always be that I have to be able to cover my base expenses first. And so that really is what I have to focus on. So I know that I will go to Mastery University in the future. I know the time will come. It probably isn't going to be this year either, if I'm being honest, but maybe in 2021, you never know. I might go ahead and get my Mastery University booked up so that I can start going, because I am so desperate to go to Date with Destiny. I hear everyone talking about it and saying how amazing it is. So that is my 2019 review of how I got on with the goals that I set back in January. All in all, I had a wonderful 2019. I really enjoyed the year. I had some phenomenal experiences. I had in my bullet journal on my list for years that I wanted to meet Tony Robbins in person. And when I created that bucket list, when I created that bucket list, there's so many things on there that feel like they're pie in the sky. It's like, oh, will that ever happen? I can't see how it ever will. And so last year, to have had the opportunity to go to that appreciation party and meet Tony Robbins, and I didn't just shake his hand, he gave me a massive hug and we had a chat and I got my photo taken with him. Wow, what a highlight from 2019. And of course, there were many, many highlights with my family and with my boyfriend. We had some amazing holidays. We had a wonderful romantic Paris trip. I have no complaints. I'm just so delighted with how 2019 went. And I'm really excited for 2020 to see what lies ahead and see what adventures I can get myself involved in. So I will be doing my 2020 goals post very soon. That will be coming up soon, where I will share with you what goals I've set for this year. And I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to get back more than once a year to update you on how I'm getting on with those goals. Well, I'm going to leave this video there. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a like, and also consider letting me know down below how your 2019 went. Were you happy with it? Were there things that you felt could have been improved? I'd love to see your comments and have a chat to you there. Right, I will say bye for now and see you next time.